Alors, bonsoir. J'espère que je fais ça comme il faut. Là. Ça fait un mois qu'on n'a pas eu de réunion, fait que je suis un petit peu sans pratique, mais on va faire de notre mieux ce soir. Alors, bienvenue à tout le monde. J'espère que vous avez passé un bel été. I hope everyone had a great summer. We've been busy here. Staff has been very busy, so we're excited to get back in as the role of council here. There's lots to get through. So first of all, roll call. All members of council are present. Merci. And I'll get Councillor Deakin to start with the territorial land acknowledgement.
Nous reconnaissons que nous sommes sur le territoire non cédé des Anishinaabe et les terres traditionnelles des peuples Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat et Kanyen-Kahaka. Nous reconnaissons notre obligation commune de respecter, d'honorer et de préserver ces terres, les ressources naturelles qu'elles contiennent.
Merci, Councillor Deakin. Whereas Canada is founded upon the principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law, let us take a moment of personal reflection. Canada, our home and native land, truly patriot love, in all of us command, car son bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Son histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for Merci. Alors, additions, deletions, or amendments? Seeing, hearing none, I'd like to propose a motion to approve the agenda as presented, and this is moved by...
Mr. Mayor?
Oui?
Yes. So we had one for 11K to amend the recommendation to say Sylvion Pilon Drain.
OK. Alors, 11K. C'est juste un changement de nom. Excusez-moi, vous me l'avez dit à part de ça, puis je ne l'ai pas écrit. So I need a mover and seconder for that change. C'est ça? Oui. So moved by Councillor Lalonde, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Call for the vote to make the change to 11K and approved. Thank you very much. Alors, motion to approve the agenda as amended, and this is moved by Councillor Deakin, seconded by Councillor Lauren, and I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And approved. Merci beaucoup. Disclosure of pecuniary interests. Councillor Armstrong.
Yes, I have the disclosure of pecuniary interest for item 11A2, as I am the applicant in the proceeding to be discussed.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong.
Mr. Mayor, I think you meant 22?
22, yes, not 11. Excuse me. 22.
Okay, so noted. Thank you. All right, moving to item 7, motion to approve the minutes as presented for the regular council meeting of June 23rd, 2025, and this is moved by Councillor Lalonde, seconded by Councillor Lauren. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, and passed. Thank you. Moving to item 8, presentations, and I'm happy to note that we have two great presentations to do today. This is always such a pleasure for council to do so. In this particular part of the agenda, we get to recognize people that really stand out in our community. Alors, c'est un énorme plaisir pour tous les membres du conseil ici ce soir pour la reconnaissance, pour les deux reconnaissances qu'on va faire aujourd'hui. Alors, je vais commencer avec Michel Leduc. Alors, good evening, everyone. Bonsoir à tous. I'm privileged to present the Community Service and Volunteerism Award to Madame Michel Leduc, a remarkable leader in our community. Michelle began volunteering in 2014 as a youth running coach with the Russell Community Sports Club. By 2018, she had taken on the leadership of the youth running program, but she didn't stop there. Seeing a greater need, she expanded programming to include younger children, creating an engaging run, jump, throw program, something all young kids like to do, I'm sure. Since then, hundreds of young people in our community have discovered the joys of athletics, le plaisir de bouger, de s'amuser grâce au sport. Thanks to her leadership, and that was thanks to her leadership, pardon me. Michelle has also served as race director for the Russell Run since 2018, helping it grow into a welcoming event that celebrates accessibility, participation, and community spirit, un vrai esprit communautaire. But perhaps most notably, she has built something that lasts by formally establishing the Russell Run Club, and I think we have some people wearing the t-shirts here tonight. Michelle opened the door for people of all ages and abilities to join together in running, walking, and healthy living. Through initiatives like the Learn to Run programs, weekly group runs, and events like the Prescott Trail Relay, she has brought together people, inspired healthier lifestyles, and strengthened the fabric of our community. So on behalf of Russell Township, au nom de notre belle municipalité, I'm truly honored to recognize Michel Leduc with the Community Service and Volunteerism Award. Her vision and dedication have left a lasting mark, and we're extremely grateful for all she has done to make our community stronger and more inclusive. Please join me in congratulating Michel. Please ask her. Michelle, come. If I can get members of council, we're just going to go on this side, Michelle, right there. I should start running. Congratulations. You said that too quickly. Come on, unless someone's running after me, I don't know. Council members, do you want to squeeze in? No?
I think they've already heard this speech before, but like what I did is I just pretty well just planted the seed, and all these people that came into our, well, I was going to say my life, the Run Club's life over the last, I think 3 years or 4. We had 3 years now. They're the ones that are heart of the Run Club, and we're just so happy. I'm just so happy to see it continue and growing. I'm looking forward for the next few, well, not, it's going to run, the club's going to be around forever, so I'm just looking forward. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. The beauty of these recognitions is it really highlights the people that make our community so special. We always talk about it. I know all members of council are inspired by the residents here. We go through difficult decisions at times and so on, but these stories are truly inspiring and really remind us how lucky we are to live in such a great municipality. So thank you for being part of it, and thank you for being involved in it. All right, so that's one. I've got a second one here as well. Alors, Monsieur Robert Potvin is getting a Citizen Award for Valor. And so this is a first for us to give one of these out. So good evening, everyone. Rebonsoir à tous. This evening, I have the pleasure of recognizing an extraordinary act of courage by one of our residents. So Monsieur Robert Potvin, who's sitting right there in the corner. On May 8th, I believe, yeah, that's correct. On May 8th, in the St. Moritz area, an individual armed with a knife threatened members of the community. In those tense moments, Monsieur Potvin immediately, who just happened to be walking by there, immediately directed a resident to call 911, ensuring that the police were on their way. He then demonstrated exceptional calm under pressure, un sang-froid remarquable, using dialogue to de-escalate the situation until officers arrived. His quick thinking and bravery helped protect his neighbors, ses voisins, ses voisines, and prevented what could have been a much more serious outcome. So on behalf of Township, au nom de notre belle municipalité, it is my great privilege to present the Citizen Award of Valor, le Prix du Citoyen de la Vaillance, to Monsieur Robert Potvin. His actions remind us of the courage, compassion, and community spirit that define Russell Township. Please join me in congratulating Monsieur Robert Potvin. Félicitations, Robert. It's okay to stand up. Council, we're all getting our steps here. No, you're over. It's really important to highlight that his actions were brave, but he did do the right thing first, is to call the OPP, or ask people to call the OPP. Thank you.
Hello. I just prepared something really quick. Good evening. I want to begin by saying how truly honored I am by standing here tonight receiving this award from our township. To be recognized by my own community means more than words can express. What happened that day was not something I planned for. It was simply a moment where I felt I had to act. I believe that when we see someone in need or when we are faced with a difficult situation, courage comes from our instincts to help and protect one another. I was lucky enough to have met a person called Eric Mueller in my life. He was a sergeant here in Russell County, OPP Emblem Detachment. His life was taken while on duty in May 2023. I remember when I started with the OPP as an auxiliary officer. I did many ride-alongs with his platoon, and one night when we were going to Montfort Hospital with a person having mental health issues, I remember him telling me on my way to the hospital that my vest and my duty belt was not my main defense tool. It was my voice and the way I was using it as verbal commands to someone. Almost 2 years to the date of his ambush where he passed, I used what he told me that day to take control of the situation and make sure no one else would get hurt. Even if he's gone physically, he will always be there for me and for everyone in our township that had a chance to work or to know him. All this said, I want to say thank you to the responding OPP officers that day and the paramedics that day that came to my rescue after I had disarmed the person. And I want to thank my friends and family for being here tonight. And again, thank you, Mayor Tarnowski and Council for this recognition.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'd also like to take a second to recognize our former mayor, Pierre Leroux, that's in the audience. Nice to have you here with us, Monsieur Leroux. Detachment Commander Sabourin. And I'm blanking on your last name. Lalonde, Dominique Lalonde. Thank you very much for participating as well tonight. Appreciate it. All right, moving to item 9, delegations, petitions, we have none. Item 10, consent items. So all items listed under the consent items will be enacted by one motion. A majority vote is required for the adoption of consent items. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a request is made prior to the time council votes on the motion that a consent item is to be separated from that motion. At that time, that separated item shall be considered immediately after. So motion that all items listed under consent items be received as presented. And this is moved by Councillor Deakin, seconded by Conseiller Lalonde. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And passed. Thank you very much, Council. Moving to item 11, reports from department and council committees. 11A, bylaw to exempt certain lands from part lot control PD 2025, property known as 142 and 144 Dove House Gardens in Russell. Anything to add, Monsieur Bourgon? Nothing. Questions or comments from members of council? Thank you. On tombe à l'item B. Règlement visant à exempter certains terrains de l'application des contrôles des lots PD 2025, propriété connue comme étant le 1500, 1502, 1506, 1508 rue Quarry à Russell. Quelque chose à rajouter là-dessus, M. Bourgon? Non. Questions, commentaires, membres du conseil? Non. On continue. Item C, bylaw to exempt certain lands from part lot control PD 2025, properties known as 241 LaBelle Street, as well as 5, 9, 13, and 17 Academy Street in Embrun. Anything to add, M. Bourgon? Questions, commentaires, membres du conseil? No. Moving to item D, règlement visant à exempter certains terrains de l'application de contrôle des lots, propriété connue comme étant le 354, 356, 358 et 360 rue Labelle à Embrun. Quelque chose à rajouter, M. Bourgon? Vous aviez l'air que vous étiez prêt à dire quelque chose, là?
Je me prépare pour les prochains.
Ah, OK. OK. Questions, commentaires, membres du conseil? Non, merci. Alors, on tombe, bylaw to exempt certain lands, part lot control, PD 2025, properties known as 359, 361, 366, and 365 Voyageurs, Place d'Embrun. Anything to add, M. Bourgon? Questions, commentaires? Councillor Lauren.
Just a correction to your verbal, it's 363, not 366.
Thank you for picking that up, as noted there. So I'll just repeat them. Properties known as 359, 361, 363, and 365 Voyageurs, Place d'Embrun. Thank you. Any other comments from members of council? No? Thank you. Moving to item F, zoning bylaw amendment, report PD 2025-16A, property legally described as lots 52, 53, 54, 55, 62, 63, 64, 65, on Plan 50M 388, known as a portion of Phase 1 of the Southwest Subdivision in Russell. So anything to add to that, Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur Mass. I will simply mention to Council that that report was previously approved, but the lot numbers had to be changed. So that's why it's coming back to Council to address that under the bylaw.
So the lot numbering is changing, but the properties themselves are not changing.
Exactly. What's being asked to Council is, or the zoning change remain the exact same thing.
Merci. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Lauren?
Just to confirm for Mr. Bourgon that this item, while it came to council before, was fully endorsed by council?
True,
Mr.
Mr. Mayor. So yes, it was it was approved by council.
Okay.
After discussion with the land developer, it was brought up by the lawyers that just the lot numbers had to be changed. So therefore, since it's approved by under a bylaw, it needs to be repealed and passed in a new bylaw.
Thank you. Any additional questions from members of council? Seeing none. Thank you. Moving to item G, rapport financier pour le deuxième quart 2025, janvier à juin, rapport CS AS FS 2025-16, que le Conseil reçoive le rapport daté du 25 août 2025, le premier rapport financier de 2025 pour la période de janvier à juin, à titre d'information. Monsieur Dagenet, anything to add? Est-ce que any concerns that should be highlighted to council from this report? I noticed that the ratios compared to last year are similar, so I didn't see anything. Any questions or comments, members of council, on that? No? Perfect. Alors, on s'en va à l'item H. Summary purchases awarded over $25,000 for Q2 2025. Report CSASFS 2025-17. Anything to add on that, Monsieur Dagenet? So that's the requirement. Anything over 25,000 has to be reported. Any questions or comments or concerns, members of council? Conseiller Lalonde?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just maybe a clarification on the stormwater cleaning. It's showing 181% contract versus budget, but it also mentions that it's still active. And I just wanting to know, start out at 30,000, up at 54, and still active, whether there's any comment or clarification on that to make.
Merci. Possiblement, Monsieur Bourgon, est-ce que je vous prends dépourvu un peu, là?
J'essaie juste de revoir là, la ligne que conseiller Lalonde en fait référence.
Okay.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth from the bottom of the first page. On parle de stormwater cleaning and investigations with International Canada. It was awarded at 30, but it's up to 54,000, and it's showing 181% contract versus budget.
Merci, conseiller Lalonde.
Could you just remind me the exact question, please?
Juste s'il y a de quoi éclaircir la différence du budget au prix courant en ce moment.
Donc, pour cet item, on a assez de budget. C'est qu'il y a eu, suite à ça, on a dû faire des reclassifications entre l'opérationnel et l'argent qui était identifié au capital. Donc, pour ce projet-là, c'était complété cette année, puis on est sous le budget.
Est-ce que vous pourriez l'expliquer un petit peu plus? Just to make sure that we understand, so it was a capital project or operational project? It's listed there as 30,000 capital. Operational, sorry.
Yeah, so the total value was several little things that some consultant work did for us. So yes, so there's one that was investigation, but there's all other variables. So that's why it's shown here as being a total of 54,000, but actually includes several other items in that amount.
Conseiller Lalonde, follow-up? Councilor Lauren.
Were those several other items budgeted items somewhere else, and you included them in this now? And if so, why?
Monsieur Bourgon?
So yeah, so it's all under our storm, the operational of the stormwater management. So there's we budget and do different jobs. We have storm ponds, we have our sewers, so there's a different amount allocated with all those type of assets. We did some condition, we did some investigation and all those type of assets, so that's why we see that bigger amount being allocated to that company.
Councilor Lauren, follow-up?
So then, Mr. Godin, Mr. Dagenet, for the next budget, should we not be allocating this properly then in operational rather than capital, so that we don't have a situation where we look at an operational item and see 180% of a project, when in fact those items were budgeted in the capital? Just so it's clear for us.
Yeah, well, I'll speak with my team tomorrow, and we'll answer this question at the next meeting.
So I think we'll see that in the follow-ups. I think that's a good item, just to track that, where that extra percentage.
That's the goal.
OK.
That's,
Formidable. Merci. Autre question ou commentaire sur cet item-là? OK, parfait. We're going to item I, capital budget amendments for Q2 2025 report CSASAM 2025-02. On the capital side, anything to add, Monsieur Dagenet? Any concerns, wins that should be highlighted for council? Not even any wins? OK. Question, commentaire, membres du conseil? Non? C'est bon? On tourne à item J, ajustement dans l'emprise routière route 300 et du chemin Saint-Pierre, rapport verbal ISPW 2025-16A. The council receives this report dated August 25th, 2025. Monsieur Bourgon.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, un peu dans la même situation qu'auparavant pour le règlement de zonage. Lorsque le conseil a approuvé le bylaw au mois de juin, les parties des différents plans étaient regroupées dans l'annexe du règlement. Lorsqu'on est venu pour l'enregistrer sur les titres, les avocats nous ont fortement recommandé de les diviser afin de clarification, que ce soit plus clair dans le futur. Donc, encore une fois, pour cette raison, on ramène au conseil de retirer, de faire un changement au règlement là, pour pouvoir séparer les différentes parties du plan.
D'accord. Alors, ça a déjà été approuvé, c'est juste que la répartition nous...
Donc, pour rendre ça plus clair, instead of just changing the appendix to the bylaw, we'll do a repeal of the bylaw and pass a new one with the new schedule.
Thank you. Questions, comments, members of council? Merci. Alors, on tombe à l'item K, appointment of an engineer to update municipal drain reports, ISPW 2025. The council received this report dated August 25th, 2025, and approved to appoint Shade Group, Inc., under Section 78 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990, to be the engineer firm updating the engineer report of Silvio Pilon, Municipal Drain. Anything to add to that, Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. So part of our upgrades of the Route 300, the intersection of Saint-Pierre and Route 300, we need to look at the municipal drain. So we'll appoint the engineer and we'll review that full report.
D'accord, merci. Question, commentaire, membre du conseil. Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, the work is motivated by the improvements to the intersection of Route 300 and St. Thomas Road. Is it that the people who are served by this drain will actually pay for this, for these improvements?
Monsieur Bourgon.
Part of the initial exercise, it's to review the full assessment, so it will be reassessed to the entirety of the watershed. We did receive several comments from the owner within that watershed stating that the outfall or the outlet of that drain is not working properly. So they also want us to review the full situation of that drain.
So has your question been answered?
My question, why would the residents pay for the portion at least that's motivated by the intersection changes?
Thank you. Monsieur Bourgon.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. So just to be clear, a resident won't be paying. The property owner will be assessed the value of the engineering work to be done. We were looking, or we could do the work without going through the full report assessment or to amend the report. But with the comments that we received with all the property owners, it makes sense for everyone to just relook at the entirety of the report.
Merci. Follow-up?
Will property owners get a chance to comment on the new report?
Monsieur Bourgon.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. So part of the process of the Drainage Act, the first step, it was to actually meet with all the property owner and to look at different options, what makes sense before we actually start the full process.
So the answer is yes. Yeah. Any other questions on this item? Seeing none, moving to item I. So a recommendation from CDEIAC 2025-02 of the Community Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee, Township Equity Proposal. So that council receive recommendation, the recommendation dated June 12, 2025 from the committee with respect to technical training for senior management to reduce barriers and to embed equity in the processes desired outcomes of the township departments by January 2027. So I will pass it to Monsieur Godin first, and then perhaps Councillor Deacon could speak to it as well. Monsieur Godin?
Merci, Monsieur Maire. Just to mention from the administration's perspective, we are currently working on a professional development program for leadership, and this will very likely be a part of that. So we're very, very at ease with the recommendation on that basis.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Councillor Deacon, anything to add to this recommendation?
Thank you. Yes, this stems from the work that the CDEIAC was tasked with through its mandate in the terms of reference for this term. It also speaks to the strategic plan objective that relates to applying an equity lens. A lot of work around diversity and equity and inclusion can feel quite abstract, and so I believe I can speak on behalf of the committee to say that the intention of technical training is really to get into a hands-on scenario where senior management is not just learning about that there are different people in our township with different cultures and different needs, but actually get their hands on working through in a workshop scenario, getting to understand and use that equity muscle in their day-to-day work. I will be asking to pull this for an amendment.
Okay. Madame Camille Laflamme, item I. Merci. Item L.
He has a little chapeau.
Merci, conseiller Laurent. It's first meeting back. Come on. Okay. Any other comments on this item from members of council or staff? C'est bon? Well, that'll be pulled. So moving to item M, a recommendation, CDEIAC. You say it so much better than I do, by the way, that acronym. 2025-03. That council receive recommendation 2025-03 dated June 12, 2025 from the committee with respect to establishing a discount within its user fee bylaw to support greater accessibility to municipal halls for Russell Township based on registered nonprofit organizations, including religious and cultural groups. Anything to add specifically on this, Councillor Deacon, before I give it to Madame Guittard?
Sure. So I just want to point back to a practice that is rolled out a couple of times here at council, whereby a religious organization locally is in need of space for ceremony worship, and they're unable to, for whatever reason, they don't have access to their space. And in two scenarios now, we've set the precedent as council, encouraging administration to implement a discount for those spaces. So the precedent has been set, but it's not actually written anywhere that is something that other folks could access. And often what I say when it comes to equity is a lot of the work of equity is writing down the unwritten. And so this is something that has been in practice a couple of times now. And I would encourage council to consider putting it in writing as well, so that newer groups, different groups in our community who don't know their counselors or their administration very well will be able to see that there is access to a discount for such a booking. Again, I think it has enormous community benefit, but it is separate from the grants and contributions program in that it does have certain stipulations that would not fall under that program.
So just clarification. So really, are we specifically talking to religious organizations in this case?
We are not.
We're not. Okay.
It's written as nonprofit, and I will be asking to pull this and make an amendment, and I did want to make sure that it was specified that it's non-political nonprofits.
Non-political.
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Lauren?
I guess the question would be, why don't we just update the community grants to include? Wouldn't that be the easiest thing to do?
Okay, so this item is pulled. We can discuss that. Madame Guittard, anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I kind of agree maybe with Councillor Lauren's suggestion that maybe it would be better for those groups, obviously, because they would get 100% no charge instead of just 25% for being able to use the halls for religious ceremonies, if that's the intent.
Okay, well, the item will be pulled and we can further discuss it at that time, if that's okay with all members of council. Yeah. So this is item M, correct? Just checking.
No chapeau.
No chapeau. All right. Okay, so so that concludes these items. So we have two items to pull, item L and item M. Madame Camille-Laflamme, c'est ça? Okay. So so I need an amendment to remove items L and M. This is...
We didn't do 12. 12, 13,
Ah, je suis un petit peu à l'avance, OK. Hey, c'est vrai que ouais, je voulais avoir fini. Hein? Merci. Non, je faisais juste vérifier que vous me suiviez parce que la dernière fois... Ah, ça, OK. OK, alors numéro 12, reports from investigator or ombudsman, we have none. Item 13, notice of motions, we have none. Item 14, question period of the day. So questions must be in relation to an item on the agenda. Before asking the question, please fill your name and address on the sign-in sheet. If you wish to receive a response from a member of council or staff, leave phone number or email on the sheet. Please state your name before asking your question. And just a disclaimer that by asking questions during the council meeting, you're consenting to be part of a live broadcast and the official public recording of the proceedings. Any questions from members of the public pertaining to tonight's agenda?
Tony Bass.
Good evening, Mr. Bass.
My question tonight is about the question period. Why is there sometimes certain items that are never on the agenda that could be questioned?
Well, that's an interesting question. So the agenda is based on business that the municipality is conducting.
Exactly.
And so it's based on the requirement of the business at hand at that particular time. So if there is no business required pertaining to that item, it won't be on the agenda. So, Monsieur Godin.
Yeah, but there's certain...
Just a second, Mr. Bass. Monsieur Godin, anything else to add to that? I mean, we go through a process of determining the agenda well ahead of time based on needs of the business that needs to be spoken to. Alors, Monsieur Godin, anything to add?
Oui, merci, Monsieur Mass. So, it's like you said, if it's on the agenda, we're prepared for all those topics. If it's not on there and the public would like to bring something to council, there's always an option to bring a delegation or petition. And staff is always open to answering questions offline as well as council members. So.
That's correct. And furthermore, I think it's important to note that any member of council could add items to the agenda at any point in time. So if there is a concern from residents that for some reason is not coming through properly, that's another option that could happen. But that's typically the process, has been forever.
So why are certain subjects never discussed at council meetings?
I'm not sure what your question's too vague for me to answer properly. So
Can I give an example?
Yeah, just go ahead. I think that's the best way.
Okay, so Mr. Armstrong's now being appealed by the courts.
I
through you
don't know
guys.
that to be true, Mr.
Well-
Bass. I don't know where you're getting your information, but I don't know
But he
that to
was-
be true.
Apparently, you're appealing the court's decision.
I don't think that that's the case at this point in time. We have not met as a council to discuss any of this at this point. And so you're making presumptions, and I can tell you that that's all they are right now. This is the first time council meets, and that's all I can say.
Okay, because it was pretty obvious
It was, wasn't it? Members of council, correct me if I'm wrong, but has this been discussed anywhere else? It has not. And decisions from council will happen at the council table, in some cases in closed session, but that's it. So,
all right, I guess that's going to be shut me down again. Thank you.
any other questions? No? All right. Okay, moving to resolutions. So I have two resolutions to pull. I need a mover and a seconder to remove item L and item M. This is
We need to put the main motion on the table
correct.
first.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item 11, reports from departments and councils and council committees. So I need a mover, a seconder to put it on the table. This is moved by Councillor Lalonde, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Call for the vote to put it on the table. All in favor? Wait. Okay, thank you. And we have proposed to remove item L and item M, and this is moved by Councillor Deakin, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Call for the vote to remove those two items. All in favor? And passed. C'est bon, Madame Camille-Laflamme? So motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item 11, reports from departments and councils, with the exceptions of item L and M. And this is moved by Councillor Armstrong, seconded by Councillor Deakin. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And passed. All right. All right, so item L, recommendation que le Conseil reçoit la recommandation 2025-02 du Comité consultatif sur la communauté, la diversité, l'équité et l'inclusion concernant la formation technique de la haute direction pour réduire les obstacles et intégrer l'équité dans les processus et les résultats souhaités des services municipaux d'ici janvier 2027. Questions, comments, members of councils on this item? Councillor Deakin,
I would like to propose an amendment.
please go ahead.
I would like to amend it to read that council receive recommendation 2025-02 dated June 12, 2025 from the CDEIAC with respect to technical training. And council directs township administration that the senior management team undertake technical training to reduce barriers and to embed equity in the processes and desired outcomes of township departments by January 2027.
So we have a proposed amendment on the table. Do I have a seconder for that amendment? Councillor Lalonde. Questions or comments on the amendment? My only question would be that that amendment is, it's not clear on what we're asking staff to do. You're saying technical training, but is there something more specific that we can, because I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's, yeah. So I don't know, Monsieur Godin, is that enough clarity there? I know that you're in the process of moving forward with it anyways, but technical training could be on all kinds of stuff, and so.
Yeah.
Monsieur Godin?
Merci, Monsieur Mayor. It's enough for us to be able to action as far as obtaining some technical training. It's not specific, like there's no specific training identified here, which I don't think was the intent either of the committee. Just the general direction of the statement is for us, provides enough to be able to go through that training and to be able to report back to council to acknowledge that.
Thank you. Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, just as in terms of more specific types of things, if and this by the way, comment applies to the next item, that 11M as well. We might review both the Charter and the Ontario Human Rights Code as just as a start, and I would expect those would already be part of the training, embedded in the training that the administration would have. But those are some of the things that you would want to look at as a first step in some of these training points that would have to be brought up.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. Councillor Deakin, anything else to add on that?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay. So we have an amendment on the table. It was moved and seconded. Any final comments on that amendment? Seeing none, I will call for the vote on for the amendment. Est-ce qu'on peut relire l'amendement, s'il vous plaît?
Sure thing.
Thank you, Councillor Deakin.
My apologies, I'm scrolling around for the next item as well. So I'm not going to read the first part of it, but that it would, sorry.
Take your time. I've been in this position often.
Thank you. So the council directs township administration that the senior management team undertake technical training to reduce barriers and to embed equity in the processes and desired outcomes of township departments by January 2027.
Thank you. And I'll call for the vote on the amendment. All in favor? And passed. Thank you, Councillor Deakin. Okay, moving to item M. Des petites secondes, moi aussi, il faut que je me retrouve.
Mr. Mayor, I think we only moved the amendment. Did we have a mover seconder on the main one?
Oh, so on the main one, as amended?
Yes.
Okay. So I need a mover and seconder on item L as amended. And so that's moved by Councillor Deakin, seconded by Councillor Lalonde. Call for the vote as amended. All in favor? And passed. Thank you. I forgot how much fun these were. Okay, moving to item 11. Recommendation of the committee consultatif sur la communauté, la diversité, l'équité et l'inclusion, location d'installations municipales aux organisations à but non lucratif. So I need a mover, a seconder to put it on the table. Moved by Councillor Lauren, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Lauren.
Yeah, I strongly believe that this item could be solved for by adding this group or these types of groups to the community grants policy. So I would move to have at the end of the sentence to say, and to direct staff to update the grants and community grants policy to include such groups.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councillor, do I need
a mover? You need a seconder.
Mover or a seconder. I need a seconder to put that amendment on the table. That's seconded by Councillor Armstrong. That's on the table. Questions, comments on that amendment? Councillor Deakin?
I disagree with the amendment. Looking at the community grants policy, and I absolutely agree that the policy, the grants and contributions policy can be updated. But a key part of the grants policy as it stands right now is that the community projects and activities must be accessible and inclusive and fall within the mandate of the municipal guidelines. I think that the direction that we're going in with this grants and contributions policy is to align it more closely with the strategic plan of the council of the Township of Russell. And as I stated earlier, while I feel like a discount for nonprofits that wouldn't otherwise be eligible for the current grants policy based on that religious ceremony is not accessible to everyone, you would need to be a practicing member to draw value from the event itself. For that reason, I believe, like I said, that it is a community benefit and it touches on the township strategic plan in that regard, but not to the same extent that I would hope to see the grants and contributions program go towards in the future when it is reviewed. I believe we've looked at, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we've looked at recommendations before and discussed as a council the review of that program. I also want to point to the comparators. We had committee members doing research on comparable municipalities, which also have grants and contributions policies as well, but that do put a nonprofit discount of this nature into their user fee bylaw. The Nation municipality gives a 65%. Arnprior gives a 58.3%. These numbers might be from last year, so it might be slightly different. City of Ottawa gives 50%. And then there are other townships here that offer a lower discounted rate. When in doubt, I look at the strategic plan, and I just want to reiterate that I think that the discount here is the more appropriate way to go. It's simple. It puts in writing a practice that council has looked at and directed administration before on 2 occasions. And it touches on the strategic plan, but again, my hope is down the road that grants and contributions policy and program moves towards even more alignment with the strategic plan in a way that I don't believe that these sorts of other nonprofits who are not currently eligible for that program would be.
Thank you. Anything to add, Madame Guittard, on this at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. No, not at this point. I
Okay.
think there's some thinking to do about this.
Councillor Lauren?
Yeah, then I have no problem withdrawing the request. I just assumed that this was the easier way, that they would fall under the same as our other groups within the municipality that are requesting the use of the facilities and get them at no cost rather than a discounted rate. But I can withdraw the amendment and leave it at that. I think the other aspect of this would be that we should defer the implementation of any discounts and direct staff to come back with a user fee update during our budget session that may or may not include the discounted rates for those groups.
Okay, so the motion was withdrawn. Yeah, so the seconder for the withdraw the motion?
I have something to say on that.
Oh, okay, Councillor Armstrong.
I look at some of the nonprofit groups that use our facilities, and for example, our hockey clubs use the facilities, and I think they should use the facilities, and I think they should get, as part of our in-kind grants, the facility at no cost. And I think all such groups do that. The use of the hockey club, if they have a banquet, photo sessions, whatever, those are not necessarily open to the public. Yet, I think the hockey clubs should have those facilities available to them. And the same with almost all our nonprofit groups. As long as it's not there to essentially create some sort of a hate or whatever atmosphere, I think they should be, those facilities should be open to them on the same basis for everybody. So even though Councillor Laura would like to withdraw it, I'll then move it back in if I can.
Okay, so that amendment is moved by, so I need a seconder. Councillor Lauren, seconded? Okay. Councillor Deakin, questions, comments?
The specifications for sports associations is in the grants and contributions policy. That is reflected, as well as specifications for schools. I'm not going to speak operationally, but if all nonprofits had free access, especially organizations that have routine worship services, for example. That's a lot of free space that all of a sudden the township is being asked to offer. I'm trying to keep this simple by going through the user fee bylaw to recognize a precedent that council has set on 2 occasions. And the committee brought this forward.
Thank you, Councillor Deacon. Any other comments on this? Okay, so Madame Guittard, nothing else to add on that?
No, the only thing that maybe we could discuss at budget time is if we do get many requests like that, the 25% could mean some important revenue loss to the department. So that's why at one point we did create, council had created the community grants because a lot of free space was given to the nonprofit groups, and the department was seeing quite an important loss at the end of the year. So that's why this program was created. So maybe for this nonprofit, 25% not bonus,
Yeah,
discount.
But the amendment on the table is to
I
give a
understand.
100%
Yeah.
discount.
It's 100% discount?
Well, the amendment currently on the
Yeah,
table
but
is
that
to
would go
review
through
that.
the community grants.
That's correct. It would
That
have
would
to.
go through the community
Yeah.
grants.
So some get accepted, some don't get accepted, but it's either pay all or 100% free, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Councillor Lauren, anything else?
Yeah, just correcting, while it's free to the user, it's not free, it's in kind. And the department does receive the transfer of the funds from the community grants to their operational budget. So there's no loss of revenue for our community grant requests up to the maximum amount that we allot on an annual basis, meaning if there are multiple requests, then it's first in, gets outside of our pre-approvals. The others come in on a case-by-case basis, one by one, on a first-come, first-served basis. And I've said this, I'm going to say back in 2007, and we talked about precedents and saving money for the end of the year, and the fact remains, when the money's gone, the money's gone. So
It's our limitation. right?
that's
Yeah.
just, that's our limitation, that's our precedent, that's what we do. That being said, while I did second this, I originally moved it, and then I seconded it, I will vote against it, because I'm not going to sit here and argue over the fact that we're offering $0 for this, as long as there's money available in the budget, and we can receive 25, 30, whatever percentage, any user fee, then fine, update the user fee bylaw. I'm not gonna argue about it. We can update the bylaw, the user fee bylaw, but my suggestion is we defer that decision until the budget time and receive all the user fees at the same time, rather than doing them separately.
Yeah, I think that, so, just to go back on that particular amendment, so I think procedurally, I think deferring it seems like a good direction, because the budget is coming up very shortly, and it could all be addressed in one shot, with some time for staff to kind of review the options around that. I think is not a bad direction. But we do have an amendment on the table. I'm going to, are you withdrawing your seconder, or are we just voting for it? No, okay, all right. All right, so we'll vote on the proposed amendment. All in favor? Against? On call. It didn't pass.
Defeated.
Defeated, thank you. All right, so we have the original, Councillor Deacon? Yeah, any other comments then? Councillor Deacon?
I'd like to propose to defer this to the budget discussions for 2026.
Thank you. Councillor Lauren?
I think the better option is to direct staff to bring it back during budget to include those items, which means we have to add an amendment to direct staff to do that, do we not?
That's correct.
So instead of deferring this item, we're,
Amending.
so I'm gonna propose an
An
amendment that says we direct staff to bring this item back during budget discussions under the user fee bylaw.
With
And I will
with a
move that.
report, with a full report.
Yes, during budget,
Options, yeah.
during budget
Yeah.
session.
Okay, that's so be moved. And do I have a seconder on that amendment? Councillor Deacon. I'll call for the vote on the amendment. All in favor? And passed. Ça va, Madame Camille-Laflamme? Oui? Okay, so item M is passed, essentially. We, like, right, Madame? Yeah, c'est ça? On a terminé? Okay. Okay, merci.
Well, that was the amendment. We have to pass the resolution.
That's the part I always get. Okay, so the resolution as such will be, are you able to read something?
I don't have the exact word that Councillor Lorrain said, but it had to do with add a direction to staff to add this, to update in the user fees at the budget time.
Okay, so let me go through it
Just
here.
as amended is
As
all we have to add
amended.
for this one.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Lauren. So we'll just, I'll still read the full resolution as amended. Thanks, I got the French version, that's what's throwing me off. The council receives recommendation 2025-03 dated June 12, 2025 from the Community Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee with respect to establishing a discount within its user fee bylaw to support greater accessibility of the municipal halls for Russell Township-based registered nonprofit groups and organizations. And that, so that that staff review this and bring it back at the, during budget discussions. Does that make sense? Somewhat?
Just as amended.
As amended.
That's all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, okay. Township-based registered nonprofit organizations, including religious and cultural groups, as amended. And that is so moved by Councillor Lawrence, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And passed. Thank you. Moving to item 12. Rapport d'un investigateur de l'Ombudsman.
16.
Thank you. Not just pages, trust me. All right. So motion that council approve bylaws 2025-093 to 2025-101 inclusively for first, second, and third reading as listed on the agenda. And this is moved by Councillor Lawrence, seconded by Councillor Deakin. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? And passed. Thank you. Item 17, new business reports, we have none. Under 18, other business, business presented by council members, we have none. Item 19, public consultations, hearings, we have none. Item 20, announcements. Any announcements from council members before I list off mine? Councillor Deakin?
It's been a very dry summer, and I just want to take the opportunity to recognize the extra vigilance and care of the fire services throughout this time. I also want to acknowledge that the budget consultation is at the next meeting of council, September 8th. And I did see instructions on the website about how individual residents and members of the public can approach on September 8th to make requests for the budget, but I'm not seeing options for folks who aren't able to physically be in that room that evening. So I'd like to ask if there's a way for people to send in their requests, for example, by email.
I think that is an option, Madame Camille-Laflamme.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So if either they can attend or cannot, it's the same way. They just have to send us an email at clerk.gref@russell.ca indicating what they want on what they're requesting, the amount, the department, and we'll get back to them.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else, council members? Councillor Lauren?
Or they can send it to any one of the members of council who can forward it on their behalf to administration and the clerk.
That's correct. Okay, just a few items to list that happened over the summer, and so I attended AMO from August 17th to the 20th. We had an amazing Meet Me on Main Street in Russell on July 15th. It was a great community event. Meet Me on Main Street in Marionville on July 9th as well, a really nice event. I've had the opportunity of sitting down with MP Giovanna Mingarelli, discussing her new role as MP and priorities for the government and for our municipality, seeing where we can align. I've had discussions with and get-togethers with MPP Sarrazin, looking to get updated on some of the grant applications that we've put forward. I've also had the opportunity of sitting down and discussing her new role with Councillor Isabelle Salski, the new councillor for Osgood Ward, replacing George DeRuse, who is now an MPP for Carleton. Meeting and discussions were had also with Mayor Sutcliffe and his team on July 3rd relating to water sourcing. So our push here from a municipality's perspective really to being treated more like a distributor rather than a consumer of water with them, and also discussing future demand of water, like a growing capacity of water. So that was a good meeting. I also had the opportunity of meeting with Mayor Peckford, Mayor of North Grenville, to discuss local transit and increase collaboration. We do have a lot of similarities with North Grenville that are probably worth some collaboration. I know they are keenly looking at our rec complex development, and so I believe staff will be meeting with their staff, start doing some discussions. The Russell Detachment Police Service Board also met on August 21st. During our previous meeting, I took over the role of chair that Mayor Zant had at the time. And I'm also very pleased to mention that particular board is now full. We had a real challenge getting appointments from the province. I shouldn't say a challenge, it was just taking time, but now the province has named the two members. So we have representation through the province, through all the municipalities on that particular board, so that's excellent. And the last point I wanted to bring up is I wanted to give a shout out to Chief, to your department, to Scott for putting together the hockey game with the Condors last week. As this is the second time, correct me if I'm wrong, second time that we've done that. We had a fantastic time. Now, Councillor Lalonde was supposed to be playing with us, but he injured himself, on purpose at that day. But we had a great time. Coaching could be a little bit better, I think, but and that's just in fun. Chief, anything to add on that from your perspective?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for council's support for attending. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it was great. A great event. And then the members and the families afterwards were able to go explore some of the equipment that the fire department had there on display. So I know it was very positive. So that's good. Councillor Lalonde?
Yeah, I have a medical certificate to explain why I couldn't play this year. But no, I just wanted to add just a tiny bit to that. The Condors, if people remember, this is all about reaching out to our youth from nearby towns with developmental and physical disabilities. That's what the Condors are all about. And I think it's wonderful that the fire department, our fire department, initiated, as it has done a few years back, I guess. You have all the fire department staff out there on their own time in the evening of their own initiative, reaching out to groups, as I say, of youth with developmental and physical disabilities, which bodes so well for some of the work that we do with our own Accessibility Advisory Committee. This is, a wonderful dovetailing. So I'm grateful for the department just going out on its own and making this happen. It just shows that, the message is out there and the interest and the desire to engage is strong. So thanks very much for that.
Excellent, thank you. Also want to point out we had another fantastic Russell Fair this year, great event. and it was a really tough one on the Sunday, I believe, the pancake breakfast, when there was a bit of rain actually, and so we're all happy to see the rain, but the timing wasn't ideal. Isn't that always the case, eh? But anyways, fantastic event by the Ag Society. Always a pleasure to collaborate with them and seeing the community come together for those events. Councillor Lauren, you had something to add?
Two quick things, sorry. One just came to mind. But on the point of the event, I was unfortunately, regretfully unable to attend because I was chairing the Parks and Recreation Committee that evening, so I would have loved to been involved. I just want to say I was very, very happy to see you using those hockey jerseys for a good cause. Those are the ones that were donated a few years back when I organized Fire and Ice, an event for charity event for type 1 diabetes. So glad to see that they're still coming into use that many years later. So that's awesome.
That's great.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment about something, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I'm troubled this evening by the insinuation made by a member of the public that council may have met either formally or informally during the summer to make decisions regarding the township. And I just want to assure the public that this did not happen, nor has not happened in the past. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Absolutely. Agreed. Any other announcements or anything to add? No? All right. Moving to item 21, strategic discussion. We have none. Moving to item 22, closed session. So pursuant to section 239(2), 3, and 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 Chapter 25, motion to move it into closed meeting at the hour of 7:11 p.m. to address matters pertaining to Section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 SO 2001 Chapter 25 to consider matters relating to 1. The sale of land in the 417 Industrial Park, Report CS 2025-10. Item 2, to update current litigation, signed by law report CS 2025-11. And 3, closed session minutes of the regular council meeting dated June 23rd, 2025. And so be moved by Councillor Lauren, seconded by Councillor Deakin. All in favor to go and close? And passed. Thank you. We are moving to closed session now.